Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 1984 classic Ghostbusters, and it's directed by Ivan Reitman and stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. This tells the story of three scientists who are convinced that paranormal activities are real and set up a business called Ghostbusters where they help get rid of and trap ghosts. However, something even more sinister is about to happen in New York City. Ghostbusters, not just one of the finest films to come out of the 80s, but an actual piece of 80s pop culture. And with Frozen Empire on the horizon, I decided to go back and give this original a watch. Now, I know this isn't really a horror movie. It's more of a gateway horror for kids. I mean, anyone can be fine with these films, despite one or two creepy moments. But I just thought this would give me a chance to talk about a beloved franchise. So let's get into it. Now, what I noticed on this rewatch is how great the writing is. I mean, it all comes together brilliantly, whether it be lines of dialogue or just each scene building upon the last. Nothing is in there for filler. Everything on screen is there for a reason and it counts. Whether it be Don't Be Crossing the Streams, which will come into play later on in the film, or Peter Venkman getting a date finally with Dana to lead into something called The Gatekeeper. And I love how the Ghostbusters have this one big arc between them, from basically nothings to creating a bit of a struggling business to a bit of a booming business to kind of celebrities to eventual saviors of New York. That's one thing I really like about this film. The characters take a chance on this business called Ghostbusters, even though to an outside point of view, from them, it just seems like a totally ridiculous thing to do, but they just believe in this paranormal so much. Well, mainly Egon and Ray do. Venkman is kind of along for the ride, but you know, they really do believe that there's a chance that this business can grow, and they go for it against all the odds. And it's just a real success story. And even though it's really struggling at first, that all changes when Dana Barrett finally walks through the door. I really like how this movie doesn't stay in its safe zone. I mean, this could have just been a movie about these characters catching ghosts, and at the end they've got to catch a little bit of a bigger ghost, and that would have been the third act. But there's a real bigger story in the background here, a more darker story involving Gozer and the Destructor coming to town, you know, to destroy New York City. And these Ghostbusters really do get more than they bargained for, and I think the viewer does as well on a first time watch. It's a real smart, fun, and entertaining story we have here.
Are you a god?
No.
Then
and the chemistry between these three characters is second to none. I mean, you will be really hard pressed to find better chemistry between three characters on a screen at once than these three. I mean, you've got Ray Stantz, who is just the heart of the Ghostbusters, like Venkman says in the film. He's a little bit dumb, but he's really smart at the same time, and he's really into his job. He's really into getting into the paranormal, but he's got some real great moments in this movie. And we've also got Egon, who's just he's always serious, as he states in the film. He's this real smart, nerdy guy. And then we've got Venkman, who's the polar opposite to Egon. I mean, he's just kind of there for the comedic relief. He's a comedy genius in this movie, and he's kind of just strolling through the film. He's simply one of the greatest movie characters of all time.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
I mean, Venkman will literally choose women over his job. We see this very early on in the film where he's doing this psychic card game, and this woman's getting all the answers wrong, but he's telling her that she's getting them right so he can hit on her. I mean, that's how serious he is about his job. Also, when Dana, who is this chance for the business to take off, it's their first customer, he goes to check out her apartment because she's seeing like this dog in her fridge, and he goes over there and hits on her straight away, and it could really just fail the business, but he really just would rather have the woman. He's just one of them characters who he's so laid back, but it just works so well. He doesn't panic. You know, everything is just a joke to him. It just works so well. I mean, he is a fantastic character in this movie, and I laughed so many times. Even on this rewatch, after seeing this movie 20 odd times, he still cracked me up. I really like towards the end where he is just lauding all this popularity. I mean, he gets out the car, well, all these people are cheering for the Ghostbusters and says, "Hello, New York, we're here." You know, he's just loving every moment. And that's what he does. He lives in the moment.
Hello, New York!
This movie is full of great side characters as well. I mean, Rick Moranis really plays Lewis Tully so well in this film. I love how he's just really nosy and he keeps locking himself out of his apartment because of how nosy he is. Man, that guy just cracks me up all the time. Then we've got Janine, the secretary, who's this really straightforward, says it how it is character, and her personality really shines through, even though she's a little bit of an asshole at times. But I love how she, it's got nothing to do at the start of the movie, and then later on she's asking for a break or some help because she's just picking the phone up every 2 seconds. And William Atherton has to be playing one of the biggest movie jerks ever here in Walter Peck, man. I just hate this guy so much, but he's still a welcome addition to the film, and he's no stranger to playing a movie jerk, is he? I mean, we see him in Die Hard and Die Hard 2, just being this total asshole as well. So William Atherton can really portray this character, and of course he is at fault for releasing all this ghosts onto the town. I think Dana Barrett is another great character here, portrayed by Sigourney Weaver. She's got this romance going on with Peter Venkman. I mean, they are just polar opposites at the start of the movie and even towards the end, really. But it just works on screen. I mean, he is a very odd character. I mean, she even states this in the film. But us as a viewer kind of like him, and she kind of sees something in him. And the more the movie goes on, the more we appreciate Bill Murray. And that's how she sort of sees him as well. The more she spends time with Bill Murray in this film, the more she appreciates him. And it's a real good blossoming romance they have there that really works on screen. It's not just the three Ghostbusters who have great chemistry. I really do think, Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver make it work for in the romance department on this film as well. And when we get to the ghost-busting action in this film, man, these ghosts still look great, even 40 years later. I mean, they haven't aged a day. I really love the library ghost at the start of this movie, the opening scene. Probably the creepiest part of the film, if there are any creepy scenes, where she kind of just jumps out at them. But I love how they finally get to it and they just have no idea what to do. They've seen this entity now, they've been chasing it all their life, and then they go, what do we do here? I mean, that just cracks me up every time. Of course, we got the iconic Slimer, who, is one of the best sequences in the movie in the hotel in the middle part of the film. Man, I'm just talking about this movie now and just realizing how great it actually is. But I really love when Walter Peck releases all these ghosts as well. And we see this little montage of ghosts. That's really fun. But my favorite ghost out of there has to be the one that goes into the exhaust of the taxi. And the guy jumps in the taxi and just says, "Hurry up, I'm in a rush." And there's this like zombified character driving the taxi. And it's great practical effects right there. And the taxi just speeds off, man. I love that part of the film. Now, the third act is really where the movie is at its strongest, though. We are joined by Winston, the new Ghostbuster, who is hired because they just need help straight away. But I think he interacts with the other three Ghostbusters well on screen for the small screen time he does get. And he offers a little bit of insight as to why all these ghosts are in New York and why they've been so busy lately. He says something must be happening in the background, which it is, so the Ghostbusters look into that. So he's really helpful with that, and he's not just there for the paycheck. He's kind of thinking about it. He's kind of smart, and he's not really as wacky as the other three. He's kind of the serious character. That does change a little bit in Ghostbusters too, but I'd also love the third act where we have this Gozer character finally coming to fruition. We have these big gigantic dogs who are the gatekeeper and the keymaster. I love all that about the story, possessing Lewis Tully and Dana Barrett there. But of course, one of the greatest things and most iconic things about Ghostbusters, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Man, what an incredible part of the movie this is. This just big, gigantic, white, smiling marshmallow man that is just stomping around New York City, destroying everything in its path. All because Ray just couldn't hold his thoughts for 2 seconds.
I couldn't help it. It just popped in there.
What? What just popped in there?
And I just like how this innocent looking thing is the destructor, what this movie has been building up to. I mean, the first time you watch this, you could not have expected that. But like the other ghost in the film, this Marshmallow Man just looks absolutely incredible and again has not aged. It just looks so bloody awesome.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I really love how it's just got this big smile on its face, and it's kind of like, yeah, I get to do my favorite thing here, smashing cars and buildings to smithereens. Like I said at the start of the video, guys, this is just a staple of the 80s, and it's really helped along with the soundtrack and the score that it has here. I mean, the creepy moments just work so well with the music. We also have great montage scenes with one of them's really creepy where the ghosts are released, and we've got like this creepy ass song that comes into the film. But also when the Ghostbusters are getting to the peak of their business, and we got that "Who You Gonna Call" song by Ray Parker Jr., all the soundtrack just works perfectly. Now, I don't particularly have too many negatives with Ghostbusters, guys. I mean, the only thing I might say is that if you're new to this type of film and you're a little bit younger than me, or the majority of people who've seen it in the 80s or early 90s, you know, as they were growing up, this film might feel a little bit dated to you. I mean, I don't think the effects or anything are dated, but you may not enjoy it as much. But that is just a guess, really. I mean, this movie is 40 years old now, and that could be the case with a lot of movies that come out then. But if I was going to recommend it to someone who'd never seen it, I would think they would enjoy it more than they wouldn't. I mean, I think that's only going to be a handful of people. So that's me just taking a guess at a negative, really. That's not really a factual negative. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now, guys. I'm going to give Ghostbusters a 9 out of 10. An absolutely iconic movie that should be seen by everyone. One of the most fun and entertaining films ever made. Okay, guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact with Ghostbusters is that something I didn't really have to look up online or anything. I kind of noticed it on this rewatch, and I'd never noticed it before. But when the eggs are cooking on Dana Barrett's worktop there, I noticed that she had a pack of Stay Puft marshmallows, which of course is a nod to what's going to happen later on in the film. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't notice that. Okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. I'm going to be doing more Ghostbusters videos after this. Ghostbusters 2 will be reviewed next on the channel, and there's going to be more content leading up to Frozen Empire. I'm going to be doing a Ghostbusters ranking as well, so look out for all that. If that sounds like your sort of thing, please subscribe to this channel. If you like horror, please subscribe to this channel. Please give this video a like. Thank you so much, guys, and let me know what you think of Ghostbusters in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you all, I promise. Thanks so much. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video.